peace and pray for Nandi and pray
in all
for all
churches and everywhere, and that will officially mark the end of the sit-at-home agenda. Of course, the criminals are going to resist, try to play hanky-panky here and there, but I mean, we keep prodding on. There is no surrender, no leave, no surrender. We must get
I think
quiet.
If I may cut in quickly, Prof, on the whether or not some criminal elements might want to take advantage and dare government, and your stance on this issue of sit at home and all of that, because we're getting report that ESN or the IPOB or what they call the Simon Ekpa boys stormed the Oko drive around Ekula of their axis, shooting sporadically. What looks like daring your stance on this issue when you met the traditional rulers on IPOB. I'd like to get your reaction to that and perhaps your next move on what has become a daring game from these elements.
Well, nobody says, again, that it's going to be a walk in the park. You know, things have gone bad so badly. And there are now criminal elements that profit from the current order of things. Don't expect that they will come clapping, because getting law and order, getting the place steady, you will actually be taking them off their major sources of livelihood, and which is criminality. They are kidnapping, snatching cars, and banditry, and looting and stealing, and so on and so forth. And they've become very comfortable with this, as it were. And that's their source of life, that's their livelihood, as it were. There's huge criminal element to it. You don't expect they're going to walk away without a fight. Nobody is naive to think that way. They will want to test the will. They will want to try and put the fear of God in everybody by doing that. Today, this afternoon, they got to Oko, they wanted to attack the police station there. But of course, they were massively repelled, and in their exit, of course, even one of their vehicles demobilized, and some of them with gunshots, wounds, running, and we are tracking them. It's a battle that isn't going to go away in one day, or even in 1 week, or in 1 month. But we're determined, and with a game plan to engage. And I'm happy that at least the vast majority of the civil society, the population, is with us on this. That we got to bring an end to this madness that is enveloped the land. Without it, nothing else can happen.
I was going to ask what you. I was going to ask what you have personally discovered, or what your government have been able to decipher as far as the insecurity situation is concerned. But let me ask, because there are being insinuations that some of these activities have political undertone. Do you still hold that view?
Before the election, there were quite a bit of it, because some political parties thought that by, stoking up that area and having the election not to hold or sit at home on the day of the election, that will give them impetus to be able to write the results and so on. But that's now over. There is a criminal part of it. And there is also the presumption, the allegations of IPOB and all of that. But IPOB has come out and emphatically stated, and I believe them, that they are no longer part of this criminal gang, as it were. And they are now working with us. And we'll probably see their own actions in the next few days, and the people are waiting to see what they can or cannot do to join us. And we called on them on the day of our inauguration, that if you are not part of this, come out and join us to build a livable and prosperous homeland. So I see, parts of this. Of course, within the agitation movement, we have to agree that there are now factions. There are various factions. There is one led by one guy in Finland called Simon Ekpa or something. And his own group, IPOB, has come out and pointedly accused that group of being the ones behind much of the criminality taking place now in the Southeast. So it's a very huge positive development. A lot of them in the bush out there, they're having camps here and there. They come out from there to kidnap and kill and so on. So once we isolate all the groups that are not involved in this element, then we can then focus on the criminal. We have also offered them some kind of amnesty. You know, come out, give us your guns. We're prepared to give you training, train you in whatever skill, even if we have to raise resources, whatever, to empower you to become useful partners in development of our society, to rehabilitate them back and to play a useful part in society. We are offering that as well.
Okay.
And yesterday,
all right.
also,
so as a follow-up, Governor, is on one hand, this entity has been prescribed by the federal government, and I'd like to know that for good, sit-at-home idea is gone and dead, is it?
Yes. It's good that you talked about prescription and non-prescription. You know, there is the factor and the jaw. I mean, you can prescribe anyone and then say you have, but what is on ground? It's a very well-organized group with capacities in many ways. And the time comes when you realize that it's not everything. You can't shoot an idea with a gun. You can't shoot an ideology with a gun. And so when you see it exclusively as a law enforcement matter, then you miss the point. We got to engage them. We got to engage everyone to really understand the roots of this. And that's why we're setting up also a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which will be announcing the membership tomorrow. And we need to get to the root and the remote and immediate causes of this, incessant unrest, agitations, insecurity. The agitations that now dovetailed into an existential threat to the entire homeland of the Southeast. And so they remain potent, they remain out there, aggressively everywhere. And all that sit at home for over a year now, and that has been obeyed. And you say you prescribe them, but they still affect the way ordinary people live in society. So at some point, you got to say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? You got to engage, like I said, differently and seriously. And the Truth and Reconciliation Commission will get to the root of this matter, where the remote, the immediate, and then also be able to document as well the people who have died in this senseless, madness that has taken place over the last few years, and the circumstances of their death, especially the innocent ones. 100 and something policemen have died, I understand, over the course of the last few years, and other security forces, soldiers, and civil defense, and so on and so forth, Navy, in this cause. Then I wouldn't even know how many of the youths of the Southeast, majority of whom innocent, have also died in the process. You now see hoodlums, come out and just shoot at somebody, and the person dies. We don't want to treat all these people, whether they are the police or this, as just statistics. Somebody, 2 persons killed there, and it's just statistics. We need to document this and understand the circumstances of their death. And so we will be able to put together the roadmap with full knowledge of where we're coming from, where we are, and where we need to go. And also, perhaps that could also form the fulcrum of engagement at the national level. Because the insecurity in Nigeria today calls for a sit-down, serious interrogation as to where we are coming from and where we need to go. Is the number one existential threat to the country today, everywhere. Pervasive. You hear about the whole airport, an international airport, being taken by bandits for some time, minutes or hours, I don't know. Train station, train movement being blown up. And everywhere, this is something that we need to engage very, very seriously. And so we are taking it very seriously. and in an open manner to engage everyone and believing that everyone has some contribution to make. So the criminals were even offering them an olive branch to repent, come out. In today's reading, the church were treated to John 8, verses 1 to 11, where Jesus actually said to the sinner, I don't condemn you, and sin no more, but sin no more. So to them, we're also saying we're not condemning you. Sin no more. Come out today. Surrender those arms, and we want to engage you back in the society. But we are interrogating this at a very, very serious level because, like I said, it's existential. Our agenda on economic transformation, on getting the social agenda, on the environment, on governance, and so on and so forth, will not be firm unless we can deal with the existential threat, which is the issue of law.
Let me come in quickly, Prof. You were reported to have said that Nnamdi Kanu should be tried expeditiously according to the law and be convicted or freed instead of being kept under indefinite detention. What exactly do you mean by that statement?
Let me be clear. You like it, you don't like it, you may want to hear it or not hear it. You see, I'm not a regular politician who speaks from four sides of the mouth. I say it as it is. My understanding of the situation in the Southeast is that every major organized group needs to be part of the conversation. Every organized major group needs to be part of the conversation. Why did we start the sit at home? That the children of the Southeast have to go to school 4 days in a week instead of 5. How did we start sit at home? That the artisans, the woman in the selling pepper out there, those who depend on daily toil and sweat to have a living, can no longer do that on Monday, and businesses are closing and so on and so forth. It's because of Nnamdi Kanu. No matter how you want to wish it away or whatever, it's essentially because of Nnamdi Kanu. So he is a factor. No one can deny that. He is a factor, if anyone wants to be realistic. And therefore, in the conversation about peace and stability in the Southeast, if you discountenance that factor and wish it away, then the person must be living in the moon. Must be living in the moon. It has become a factor. And therefore, as part of that process of getting down to the fundamental long-term discussion on this matter, we need to get that matter over with. What started the sit at home is because Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. And what are his supporters, what were they saying? They were saying that they will keep this Monday sit at home until he is released. We're only arguing and having a counter narrative to say, listen, gentlemen, doesn't make sense to now, someone annoys you somewhere else and you then go and lock up your entire family and say they should not eat, they should starve to death, and children shouldn't go to school, and so on and so forth. And I think they have bought that argument. And so for us, as part of that total resolution of the matter, get him to the courts, press the charges, and he will be defended. This is Nigeria, rule of law. The courts will take their course expeditiously, and let us see where it gets to. But I'm one of those who believe that some of these matters are things that we need to. I haven't seen what the criminal charges are, because we need to know. The public deserves to know, and everyone needs to know what is he being charged for. And then let the courts take their processes, and so on. And it's just common sense. That they say justice denied, justice delayed is justice denied. It's not just because it's Nnamdi Kanu or anyone, but it's become part of the conversation.
But I think it's public knowledge that it was being charged for terrorism. He's facing terrorism charge. Isn't that clearly stated in the court right now?
No, let's go to court, and that's why I say expeditiously. Let's have let him have his day in court. But all these long adjournments and so on, there are some of these sessions that have implications for national security that you should try out and bring closure to it. Because the longer that it lingers without bringing closure to it, the longer you keep the system in suspense. That's the point.
And let me tell you, this new generation will get Biafra. Believe me, we will use everything available to us, and Biafra will come.